How to keep appraisal gaps from destroying you. Here in 2021, we've experienced the most insane real estate market Denver's ever seen. Supply has dropped by 50% and demand has increased by 100%. So home buyers earlier this year were having to bid $30, $50, $70, sometimes $100,000 over list price. They also often had to provide what's called an appraisal gap. And so I'll cover in this video what is an appraisal gap and then 4 tips for you. The first tip is you can always place a limit on how much of a gap you're willing to pay. And think of this, the gap is just a softer word for the word guarantee. Because what you're doing is you're guaranteeing to the seller you're willing to pay more than the home appraises for. But you can place a limit on that. Maybe it's $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, whatever. So you can place a gap or a cap on how much you're willing to pay over list price or over the appraised value in this case. And so let's say the home you're looking at is listed at $500,000. You're bidding $575,000. Okay, you don't have to do a $75,000 appraisal gap. You can do something smaller. This is where your real estate agent can help you and look up comps. And what we may very well find is that the last 3 sales in that neighborhood have sold for, say, $550,000. So maybe all you need to do is a cap of $25,000, or maybe you do 20. That number's up to you. You can limit how much, quote, exposure or risk you as the buyer are willing to take. The second tip that I want to give you here is you don't always have to pay or bring an extra, in this example, an extra $15,000 to closing. There's something else called, and this is an incredibly great tool for this type of market, mortgage insurance. Let's say you were putting 20% down. Let's say on that home, you won the offer. You're getting this house for $575,000. Let's assume it only appraises at $560,000. That means you have a $15,000 appraisal gap. So you would have to pay that. Do you want to bring that extra $15,000 to closing or look at option number 2? One option is mortgage insurance, specifically monthly mortgage insurance. And so what would happen in that example is your loan to value may be increased from 80% to 82%, which now requires mortgage insurance. If you did it monthly and you have great credit, that cost may only be about $50 a month. So would you rather pay an extra $15,000 at closing or an extra $50 a month? I think the answer is probably pretty easy for most of you. You'd rather pay the $50 a month. And I'll continue on with a third tip here after you go ahead and subscribe and like my page here, and feel free to share it with others as well. The third tip here, like with mortgage insurance, is you can also do what's called single pay mortgage insurance. In this example, I looked it up. This premium might cost you about $2,500. So if you wanted to, you could pay that extra $2,500 at closing, but that's still better than $15,000. Other option is, you can finance that $2,500 premium into your mortgage. Now your monthly payment increases only $10 a month. Magic. Would you rather pay $10 a month or bring an extra $15,000 to closing? And so these are the kind of solutions and tips that can really help you, right? And here's my final tip. It's real simple. Relax. Don't worry about what you can't control. And one of the things that's been remarkable this year, if people are putting 20% or more down and have great credit, often we don't even need an appraisal. We're getting what's called a property inspection waiver from Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac that says they accept the value of the home. So we don't need an appraisal. That has happened probably over a dozen times this year, where my buyers were really concerned and they had no reason to be concerned. Second thing, let's say you are putting, say, 25, 30% or more down on a home. if the appraisal comes in low, it really is no big deal. It's not going to have any impact on your monthly payment or cash to close. You're okay. Third, if you're a veteran, and let's say you are putting money down, and a lot of veterans do, if the house appraises low, it doesn't matter, because the VA loan can be with no money down at 100% loan to value. So I encourage you not to worry too much until we do potentially have a problem. And so if you like, what you're hearing, maybe you have questions or comments on this, I'd love to hear from you.